Made a lot of progress the last little bit on the Z28 LS3 swap. Going to show you what I've done, show you what I'm doing, and where we're going next. Stay tuned. Now I'm going to try and deal with this engine wiring harness. That's left in from the old motor, and there's not a whole lot I need from that. People go on about modern cars being hard to work on. This is an 81 Camaro. I just took out the brake booster, disconnected that wiring harness from the firewall. Master cylinder's hanging there. Took the wiper motor off, all just to put in a hydraulic clutch kit. I'm glad I did because it gave me a whole bunch more room for working. So that's the positive out of that. Yeah, but that took a solid hour and a half because you can barely turn those nuts on those studs there out. That was great. Now I'm going to clean myself up and take the pedals apart so I can get all that. So, this is what you get into with projects. I'm going to show you something interesting because this was an automatic car that was changed to a standard, but someone screwed something up. I'm going to show you. Give me a second. Someone drilled the hole for the clutch master cylinder in the wrong spot. That's where the hole should be, right in there. Come on. Off you get. That's where the hole is. No bueno. Si, senor. He's in the wrong spot. Yeah, that's not good. That's definitely in the wrong spot. Also, the bolt for the steering column is kind of in the way. But I'll deal with that later. So I'm going to have to weld that up. I can use my new welder that just showed up today. And mark and drill, and I'm going to have to get a hold of McLeod, and hopefully they send me a template. The first thing we're going to do right now is hook up this LS steam vent kit we got from Performance World. All hard lined. All the fittings come with it. You get a little bit of thread tape. I like the hardline ones, mostly because when I wire the Phytech, I'm going to tie off the harness to a couple of these tubes. So we're going to start putting this together on the bench and then put it on the car. So I'm starting to mock up everything. You can see I got the steam port kit roughly mocked up. And you can see how I'm going to run the wires over that valley cover. I got a couple cushion clamps coming that are going to bolt to the bolts on the valley cover. I'm going to run that in behind the power steering. I'll put the bracket on and mock that up here in a little bit. We've got this, actually he had this already. It's a little inline coolant temp port. So that's where the steam line is going to connect to, probably right around here-ish with some dash 4. Not sure how I'm going to do that for a fitting, maybe a straight, maybe a 45, but we'll see. I've got this molded radiator hose off a 99 to 06 5.3 1500 GMC truck. So we'll get that kind of where we need it, cut it, and use that as a junction to join it. I'll get some nice T-bolt clamps to hold everything in. Now my next step is I'm still waiting on my argon tank and my blue shield tank to show up. I just got all that geared up today to weld that up. So now we can kind of figure out where we're going to put the wiper, or not the wiper motor. We're going to put the master cylinder under there and hide it for the clutch. But we got to keep in mind all the wiper linkage. So that's going to be my next thing. So now I'm mocking up where I'm going to put the reservoir for the new clutch master cylinder. I'm going to trim that out and sink that in just a little bit so it's nice and trick and it's outside of the engine bay. I'll just drill a little hole, put a grommet in it, and run it down to the new clutch master. I'll mock up the intake here probably tomorrow night and figure out where everything's going to go on that. So yeah, we're making progress. Then I can deal with all the wires and get everything nice and tucked. So this is why I wanted a new wiring harness for this. It's a rat's nest. It's been hacked and spliced and respliced and rehacked, and I'm not sure what's what anymore. And I want to rewire this and make it better. So I'm going to move these Dakota Digital modules down here under the console. I'm going to clean up all this. We got a new painless wiring harness coming, so that'll solve that. That cat cable's at a bit of a bad angle, so we're going to correct that. Hopefully it's not broken. If not, it's just a regular Cat 5 or Cat 6, not a huge deal. Yep, so I'm going to pull that module out and remount it. So that's where the modules are going to go now. They're going to be tucked away under the console. I am going to mock up the console and make sure everything's going to fit. The shift boot's mocked up. That's starting to go. I got to fix those 2 holes in the ductwork so it's not blowing all over the place. I'll just melt those back with my solder gun. So yeah, we're coming right along. Remflex gaskets. That's about all I trust on this stuff because they're absolutely phenomenal. If you're building cars and doing stuff like this, you should be using Remflex. So I started getting the firewall ready to tack that patch in. I got the whole welding blanket going. I got a guy, one of the neighbors, going to come down and spot me so I don't set the car on fire because there's still a little carpet and insulation back there we got to be careful of, even though I got to rip the whole carpet out at some point soon. Yeah, so we'll get that TIG or MIG welded up, ground down, hit with a little bit of etch primer and paint, and then that'll be good to go for the new clutch master cylinder. Alright, so we're getting ready to weld up the firewall. I got George in the car watching for fire. Say hi, George.
Hello, guys.
So, yeah, we're going to get Sparky and weld up this hole so we can drill the proper one. Helps if you turn the welder on.
Number 1 thing?
It usually is number 1 thing, but in this case it's number 2. Make sure my gas is on too, and my gas is good. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. Well, that's a rough mock-up. So now I got to do the master cylinder, figure out where that's going to be, drill the hole in the upper firewall for that, put the feed hose through. The feed hose is going to end up being AN. That's just the mock-up hose. Well, that's the hose that comes with the kit, and I don't like it because we're keeping everything clean. There's a little bracket on the firewall I'm going to take out. Ignore the orange paint. I just sprayed something there that was easy to see for marking on. This is all going to get seam sealed where I welded from in behind. Then I'm going to hit it with a bit of rubberized undercoating like the rest of the firewall had. And yeah, she is going right along. I'm quite happy with this. You can see the hole where the master cylinder is going to poke through. In the future, if we want to get a more trick master cylinder, that's going to be an option. Nothing's going to change dimensionally, just the style of the reservoir. So yeah, very productive. So major wiring progress on the engine. I kind of always tell people that it's going to look like nothing's happening for a little bit, and all of a sudden it's just going to be like, wow, it's starting to come together. And we're kind of getting to that phase now. I know that's still a rat's nest over there. I still have to deal with that. I'm going to make the ECU mount on a pedestal right kind of there, and behind that is going to be the line lock. So it's all going to be in together and hidden. Well, not so much hidden, but all tucked away nice. But as far as all the wiring goes, I don't know if that's going to stay up there like that. It was just an already existing hole for a clamp, and I just took advantage of it to get it off the engine. But we are coming right along. I am getting very, very happy with how this harness is coming. I still got to deal with some of that. That's not a big problem. There's two little holes right there, which are kind of crappy, that I'm going to weld up. Put the wiper back on, start putting the wiring harness in next week. I've got that tucked away. That goes under there. Goes up and meets the rest of the harness. I've got to figure out a more permanent spot for the injector plugs and the coil driver plugs. Not a big deal. And I got to figure out the vehicle speed sensor because something is stuffed in that location, which I don't know what it is. So, going to be fun trying to get that out. But, other than that, wiring is coming along very, very well. I've got to figure some more stuff out, but building cars is about finding solutions, not looking for problems. So, I pulled the dash out. This is why we're getting a new wiring harness. It's cut, spliced, hacked up. I got to deal with the audio stuff. I'm going to pull the carpet and get that. The dash is, oh, excuse the mess of my shop. The dash is over there. New harness is coming. So, yeah, we're going to get this all geared up here. It's going to be way better with all new wires. Yeah, this needed to be done. It's pretty seedy. This is what you run into when you're working on other people's work. They welded the tailpipes to the mufflers. To the mufflers. Just cut it off with the old recip saw. So that was fun. Now I gotta figure out and rebuild an exhaust. There's the old wiring harness. That was just a cluster, so that's out of there and gone. It's a little more bare inside, but I got stuff ripped apart so I can slowly start putting it back together. Overall, it is going well. You just keep running into stuff you weren't planning for.